Ready to dive deep. Today, it's all about Doginals, specifically these Doginal dogs. And after this stack of articles you sent, I can tell you're ready to figure these things out.
It's really interesting to see something new popping up in the Dogecoin world. People keep saying Dogecoin NFTs, but that doesn't quite feel right, does it?
That's what's got me so curious. We've got intros, deep dives, even spotlights on the community. Trying to get the full picture here. So, big questions. What are they? How do they stack up against NFTs, and should we even care? But first, what even IMA a Doginal?
So one of the articles you sent, what are Doginals in DRC20? A beginner's guide to Dogecoin NFTs. It uses a pretty good analogy,
Okay,
actually.
I'm listening.
Imagine taking a regular dollar bill, like everyone's got, and just doodling on it. Could be a cool drawing, maybe it's a meme, doesn't matter. It's still a dollar, you can spend it, but now it's one of a kind, right?
All right, I think I see where you're going with this.
That's what a Doginal is like. Except instead of doodles, it's data put right onto a shibe of Dogecoin. Text, an image, really anything. It's like giving that Dogecoin a little digital flair, a way to make it stand out.
So it's not a whole separate thing like how NFTs are. It's more like, I don't know, upgrading an existing Dogecoin.
Exactly. That's a key difference we'll get into later on for sure. Think of it like,
Okay.
remember collecting trading cards? Limited edition ones. It's got that same kind of feel. Digital scarcity, but, the Dogecoin way.
And these Doginal dogs we've been hearing about, they're like a specific set of these, right?
Exactly. They're into that old school pixel art style, which seems to be pretty popular right now. And your Doginal Dogs source really stresses how important the community is for them. That's a big deal for them, sets them apart.
Yeah, I'm starting to see how this is more than just the tech behind it. This community is a big part of it. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie, this is reminding me a lot of NFTs.
Yeah, people compare them a lot. And sure, on the surface, there are some similarities. But when you really get into how they actually work, that's where the differences get interesting.
Okay, yeah, walk me through that. What are the big differences between like a Doginal and an NFT then?
So probably the most important difference is how they use the blockchain itself. See, NFTs usually use those smart contracts, which is just a fancy way of saying agreements written in code, right? Doginals, way more straightforward. They're put right onto the Dogecoin. No need for those complicated contracts.
So keeping it simple, like how Dogecoin is supposed to be easy to use and all that.
Exactly. But it's more than just that. Remember how we said Doginals aren't their own separate tokens? Well, NFTs, they are their own asset, meaning they have a whole different set of rules, have to use their own marketplaces, all that. Doginals are still Dogecoin, just with a little something extra.
Okay, yeah, that is a big difference when you think about it that way.
And this kind of ties into another key thing, on-chain storage. So with a Doginal, all the info about it, what makes it unique, that's embedded in the Dogecoin blockchain itself. A lot of NFTs, they rely on these external links for that, meaning the actual data is somewhere else entirely.
So it's a security thing. Like if that link breaks, you've got no proof of what that NFT even was.
Exactly. On-chain storage means a Doginals info is as permanent, as tamper-proof as the blockchain itself. It's all right there, public record. And that's huge for making sure it's authentic, that it'll keep its value.
Makes sense. But even with all that security, you still got to keep your digital wallet safe, right?
Absolutely. If you lose access to that, it's like losing that dollar bill we talked about, doodle or no doodle, you're out of luck. That's just the name of the game. With anything digital, Doginals, NFTs, even just regular crypto.
Good point. So speaking of what makes these things unique,
Yeah.
let's talk more about that Doginal Dogs community. You mentioned them earlier. In this Doginal Dogs article, it's really highlighting them.
Yeah, so from what I'm gathering here, this community is like a really big deal to these Doginal Dogs folks. What's the vibe like? It kind of takes me back to the early days of the internet before everything got, so commercial. There's this real excitement, a shared passion. It feels more about building something together, less about just like making a quick buck.
And they've got some interesting characters running the show. The Doginal Dogs. Crypto's first Community for the People article, it mentions these three leaders, Books, Barks, and Shibo.
Huh.
Who are these guys?
So it's like they each bring something different, like Books, he's the numbers guy, been around crypto forever, really good at spotting trends and stuff. And there's Barks, he's all about the marketing, getting the word out, building the hype. And then you've got Shibo, he's there. Well, he just wants everyone to understand crypto, make it fun, be that educator.
Wow, they really do have it all covered. But what's in it for the average person? Why join this whole Doginal Dogs thing?
Good question. So your source here lists a few reasons. They've got these big discussions happening on X, used to be Twitter, right? You can connect with other owners, learn the ropes from people who've been around. They even do these alpha calls to talk about potential investments and stuff.
Huh. So it's more than just collecting. It's about being part of this whole
Yeah.
movement almost.
Yeah. And they've got resources to learn about crypto in general, which is helpful for anyone new to all this. Oh, and this is cool. They're already doing charity stuff with crypto, putting their money where their mouth is, you know?
I like that. Shows they're serious. Okay, so we've talked about what Doginals are, how they're different from NFTs, the whole community thing. But I got to ask, how does this even work? I get it, they're on the blockchain and all, but
Yeah.
technically speaking,
Right. Got to get a little techie for a minute. So remember how we were saying they put data onto individual shibes? Yeah, well, that wasn't so easy, especially with Dogecoin back in the day. See, those early blockchains, they weren't exactly organized.
what do you mean?
Think of it like trying to find one specific grain of sand on a whole beach.
Oh boy.
That's what it was like trying to track shibes in those old blocks. The info was there, but to prove someone owned a specific coin, which for Doginals is kind of important. That was the tricky part.
So how'd they fix that? Did someone invent like a microscopic Dogecoin sifter?
Huh. That's actually a good way to put it. So these guys, Doge Labs, they're the ones behind all this. They basically mapped out those early blocks, like by hand almost. Created this whole history of each shibe, where it went, all that. It was a huge project.
Talk about dedication.
And because of that, we have the DRC-20 Doginal Explorer. Imagine like an online museum catalog, but for every Doginal dog ever made. You can see when it was created, who owns it now, even track every time it's traded. Like, say there's this Doginal dog, right, named Shiba Caesar. Majestic Shiba Inu, tiny little toga.
Okay, I can picture it.
You can use this Explorer thing to prove it's the real deal, see exactly when it was put on the blockchain. It's all right there.
Wow, that's kind of cool. Very transparent. So looking ahead, what's the plan for Doginals? Are we all going to be rocking these in the metaverse or something?
Maybe, who knows? But right now, making a Doginal, it's still pretty technical. Your source, that What Are Doginals and DOC20 guide, it says Doge Labs is trying to make it simpler, like drag and drop easy, anyone can do it.
So making it more user-friendly makes sense if they want more people involved. Anything else they're hoping to do?
They're talking about dedicated marketplaces too, like picture Etsy, but for Doginals. Or eBay. Places to buy, sell, trade, the whole deal. That'd be big for making sure this whole thing keeps going, that artists can connect with collectors, you know, like a digital art world, but running on Dogecoin with that community vibe we talked about.
Yeah, that's a really interesting idea. More than just the tech itself, it's like a whole shift in how we think about this stuff.
Exactly. Could really shake things up, especially for Dogecoin. I mean, it's still super early, right? There'll be bumps in the road, but the foundation's there, and honestly, the possibilities are pretty exciting.
It's been a fascinating deep dive for sure. And as always, we like to leave our listeners with something to think about. If this whole Doginal thing really takes off, could it spark something similar for other cryptos out there? Could we see a future where these digital assets are more than just investments, but about creativity, community, even shared values? Something to consider. If you want to learn more, check out that Doginal Explorer we talked about. Maybe even find the Doginal Dogs community online. See what it's all about. Until next time, happy diving.